Yo guys, it's Yugi Aiden, and today I've got my friend James doing a DDD deck profile from locals last week where he went undefeated, and let's get started.
Yeah, this deck's insane. I've been playing this deck for about I think like a month and a half now, and it's just some of the ceilings that this deck can actually do is just ridiculous, and it's just extremely consistent. The fact that you can run, I think it's 15 hand traps and still see full combo is just really good. My matchups, we only play 3 rounds because of people taking an hour and a half to complete a game, to complete a match. So I played pure Tri Brigade, and that was a 2-hour. We just didn't. He saw 2 hand traps, and I played through both of them. And he had no go. He decided for going second and went second, and then saw no go in second cards. So it was just a simple.
Which is a rip.
Yeah, he just was a simple set of the full negates and just stop them. Round 2, I played against Vendred, and that was I lost one of the matches. I won the games because I won game 1. I just set up an unbreakable board. He played no hand traps, and I just ended up just beating him and just OTKing him. Game 2, I ended up losing because I didn't read Battle Lord's effect properly.
Yeah, we've been there.
And
same.
For it only negated 1 spell. Turns out it negates all spells. So I just ended up losing that matchup. Just scooped it up. I went to game 3 again. He saw. He's a new player. Well, he's a returning player, so he didn't play any side deck, any like hand traps or anything, and it was a simple steamroll. And then round 3, I played the mirror, which is probably the most exhausting matchup ever, because there's a lot going on. I mean, I ended up stopping his Gilgamesh with Imperm, and then ended up just OTKing him, and then misplayed in game 2, but ended up coming back and winning with Zeus. So, yeah.
Zeus for the win.
Yeah, so we'll get started. It's 43 cards, and the reason why it's 43 cards is because it suits with my side deck pattern, and it just allows me to play a little bit over 40, so the cards that you don't want to see in your opening hand, because we do play a few of them, you don't end up seeing. So we'll start off nice and simple. With probably every list is the same, triple Kepler. Being able to search for a dot contract, obviously starts your entire engine. Also the second effect, it never came up today, or never came up last week, sorry, but being able to add to target a DDD card and add it back to your hand. You use this to reset your skill, so you have 0 cards in skill to go late game Gilgamesh. But it never came up. But yeah, this card is really good. We are in the UK, if you didn't know, so we don't have Divine King.
Well,
so,
not yet.
Not yet, so
we are very much prepping for that.
I am looking forward to playing this deck at full power. But yeah, so this card will become a lot better once Divine King is legal. Next up, we're playing Triple Copernicus. This card's amazing. Being able to send Necro Slime or send like anything really. I sent Necro Slime, I've sent Orthros with this card, brought it back and made like Siegfried. Being able to like you can just send anything. You pretty much use this to send any combo piece you have, so you always make full combo. And then its pendulum effect actually came up against Vendred, where I sent the pendulum scale passed with Divisor King on board. Standby phase, I popped my own Copernicus using its effect, and then pendulum summoned it and then got full combo. And then I was able to OTK. So yeah, so this card's really good. And it's both these are searched by pair race maps as well, which gives us 9 ways of seeing a full combo. Because all you need to see is mainly you need to see these 2 cards. That's Triple Griffin. You need to see these 2 cards to have full combo. So this deck just is so easy to actually be able to pump that out. But yeah, Triple Griffin, this card's probably the best support this deck's had. This card is ridiculous. Being able to, so it can special summon itself from the hand. It can, if it's pendulum summoned, you can discard a DD card or dot contract to draw a card. And if it's summoned back from the grave, you can search a DD card. So the card's just insane. And its pendulum effect, it never came up for me. But being able to boost something by like 500, 1,000, whatever, and then destroying it again, same thing as Copernicus, it does set you up, but it just never came up. But yeah, this card is ridiculous. I think I drew this most of the time during the games that you played, and if not, you play triple dot contract so you can search it out. But yeah, the card's just brilliant. So we end up maxing out on all these, and I think you just want to see these in your open hands, and you want to see this as well. And you play triple swirl, and this card's brilliant. being able to make, like, you can make Baron before your 5th summon. You can also make, if you draw Orpheros, you can also make High Wave King Genghis before your 5th summon as well, if you have full combo and you can want to play around Nib. But I actually never got Nib today, last week, sorry, which was actually like really usually drawing testing. I got, even my Gilgamesh got negated, or I got nibbed all the time, and I don't think my Gilgamesh got negated once.
I had a broken brain for 10 minutes against Unchained.
Yeah, that wasn't fun. But yeah, my Gilgamesh got impinned once, but I drew both scales. So I just went scale, and just continued, so it didn't really matter. But yeah, Swole sounds really good. Do you want to see these in your opening hand almost every single game? Because once you do, then you just play through so many hand traps with this deck. And moving on to the less important stuff, 2 Orpheros. This card's really good. It's level 4 tuner. Spell trap card removal as well is really big against this deck. There was Striker, and this being able to just pop like Mystic Mine or just other stuff is just generically really good. Also, this card can clear your, if you do like the full combo with like Perry Race Map and Ragnarok, you're down to like 2,000 life points at the end of the turn. So if you have both contracts set, all your opponent's got to do is draw, pass, and you will lose. You will burn yourself to death. So this card allows you to play around that by just popping two contracts and just making yourself that you do save yourself. But yeah, this card's really good. It allows you to make Baron. I drew this again all the time as well. So being able to make Baron before your 5th summon, and also being able to make Siegfried. Also, it's at level 4 as well, so if you draw, you can still full combo. Next, we're playing 1 rack. I really want to play 2 of this, but I feel like it just is such a break to draw. But again, it's just such a power play. I won a game in testing against Unchained just from being able to banish a soul,
which was very evil.
And I just removed the soul and just a punch for game. And one thing to note is the pendulum effect does half your damage, which some people don't actually realize it, and then it just ends up costing people the game. But yeah, this card's really good. Sometimes you do need it to power through and continue your combo. But yeah, and it's really good in the grind game as well. Thomas, this card sucks. This card bricks. It's terrible to draw, however, it does come up in the late game, being able to add back your monsters back to your hand to be able to keep. Because the thing is, we play such a small DDD engine that we lose a lot of resources really quickly. So being able to get them back with Thomas is pretty cool, but I don't know. I think you kind of have to run it, but it's just not very good. Off fusions. You only want to play 1 of each of these. You just want to send them from the deck. And just remember that this card, I misplayed because I sent this card to grave and I forgot you have to activate on turn that sent, not actually the turn after. So I waited turn after, read it, and I was like, oh, I can't do that. But yeah, these cards are amazing. This is how you just push your fusion plays and you just end up just OTKing. 1 Lamia. This card's a lot better than I actually thought it was. Being able to have an extender to turn it to this plus this plus Kepler is a Gilgamesh. So just in case you don't open Griffin, also allows you to make, like, I played Dark in the extra, so it allows you to make Siegfried pretty easily. Also, it's just, I end up winning a game against Unchained when he broke my board during testing, and I won because of this card. Because I was able to make Gilgamesh and just start putting it damage. And then probably the best card of the entire day. Yeah, this card's brilliant. Having a snatch steal, a searchable snatch steal is just so nice. I won against Tri-Brigade, stole both the Rescue Cats, both games, and during testing I felt really confident against Striker because I kept just stealing the link, and they couldn't trigger Ray because the link doesn't leave the field. And then yeah, just generally this card's like really strong. It came up against Vendred as well. I took the Battle and just killed him with his own Battle Lord. Yeah, and I think this card's just absolutely fantastic. And then we're playing triple Dark Contract with a Gate and 1 Swamp King. You only need these. I don't play the field spell. I think the field spell is just terrible because there's only like 1 I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure there's only 1 full card combo to make the field spell live. To like search a field spell. I just don't think it's worth actually running when it doesn't come up. So these 4 are like mandatory. This just allows you to search for anything. This allows you to, this is how I won the mirror, was I had Zeus on board and I just ended up playing this and then I had enough damage on board to kill him.
We like killing people with damage.
Yeah, it's fun. But yeah, so yeah, I think four's enough. Yeah, I don't think any more ever came up. We only play like 4 fusions as well, so only having 4 for this actually does. And you use 3 of them in your main combo, so only having like 1 fusion left actually comes up. And then the best searcher, I don't like small worlds. I think that card's terrible in this deck. I think this card's just so much better. Yeah, the half life is an issue. However, you're usually, if this resolves, you usually end up setting the boards up anyway. Or if you go in second, you're killing them. Like, this deck has some serious damage output, and I just don't think. I think you just want to get there. Like, this card's searching 2 out of 3 of the cards, and also when we get Divine King as well, we don't search Divine King, is also really good. But yeah, I wouldn't run small world. I think that works. And then moving on, for probably the part of the deck that I don't play 1 for 1 as well, because maybe it's my bad luck, but I never actually drew it. Every time I drew it, it just didn't actually help at all. But yeah, moving on to the hand traps, we're playing triple Ash, triple Veiler, triple Imperm, double Nib, double Bell. So the reason, and this ratio may seem a bit weird, but the reason behind this is originally I was running 2-2-2-2 and 2 because I'm running cross out. But the reason why we decided to run 3 was because I felt like during the matchups, like against the striker deck, against the mirror, I wanted more hand traps because I was siding out like 1 hand trap each to put in more hand traps for cross out targets, but then I wasn't seeing the hand traps I needed. So I felt like running 3-3-3 actually worked, and I think Bell's like really good. Bell's just really good against like striker. It's good against DPE.
And it can be quite good against Unchained as well.
Yeah, I think like Ash is like more stronger against Unchained because hitting their traps, if they don't chain block them, hitting their traps is actually like really strong. But mainly like, and then in Nib, I don't think Nib's like in our format, we're mostly running, there's a lot of control mid-range decks. And I don't think just Nib was worth actually running that 3. And then also, you may be confused, we don't play Ogre. There's no Brave Engine at our locals.
No.
So I didn't play Ogre because I didn't feel like it was necessarily come up. I mean, against this deck, people sometimes have sided in Ogre to like beat contracts, but it's not popular. So I just felt like this hand trap lineup just covered everything. And then the 2 cross out and the 1 call by. I've said this once, I love this card, and I think everyone at locals hates me for it because I'm like, every time I can try and like put this card in, I will. I feel like this card is like mandatory in this deck. I've seen a lot of people side it. I disagree with that. I think this card is definitely main deck worthy. Just being able to like protect yourself from Nib, which this deck does lose to, and also the Imperm and the Veiler and the Gilgamesh just kills this deck. So I think this card came up. I think I drew this like twice, once against Tri-Brigade going second, but he didn't open going first. Sorry, I was going first. He didn't open any like hand traps or anything, so it never came up, but just having it is nice. And then I won the mirror because I had this, because he ashed my contract and I was able to designate it and just won the game because of that. But yeah, that's it for the deck. It is 43 cards. Side or extra next?
Extra, go for the extra.
Yeah, so play 3 Gilgamesh. You need 3. The guys were very confused when I ran 3, but then they soon started realizing that you do go through these so often, and there's been combos where I went through 3 and someone's literally said to me, you went through 3 Gilgamesh, and I'm like, oh crap. I better end this game now then. But yeah, this card's like fantastic. Don't know what's up with anything, but this card is absolutely like brilliant in this format and just makes the deck so good. Triple D, Flame King Gangus, and 1 high Flame King Gangus. You only need like 2 of these because you're only going to summon 2 and then make your High Wave King. And then this card's also really good as well. I summon these pretty much almost every single game that I played, and they're just part of the combo. I played this. I don't know. It's like you have 1 flex spot in this list, and I feel like this card's really good because not only does it like save you in time, it also like is a level 7, which if you brick, you're able to like make Baron without like one of your hand traps, or you can make Siegfried. So, because Siegfried only requires 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner DD monster, so you can even summon like Effect Failure and make Siegfried, or you can summon like Ash Blossom and make Baron. But I feel like this card, you can literally probably run I would say you probably run a second Zeus or a third Divisor, but I wouldn't say anything. I think the card's just fine. And then for the other stuff, playing one Wave King, one Marksman King Tail. This card's really good. Both these cards are used in the combos that you make with this deck. This card's really good, and then you just pick in between which ones really. I've burnt some off a game with this, it's quite funny. High Wave King, this card is how you just win your games. Being able to have a non once per turn negate is pretty good. It also boosts your DD monsters by 1800. Again, Jordan Tesson I beat on chain because I attacked. He activated effect and negated it, gained 3600 point, 1800 on this and something else, and then that was exactly 8000. But yeah, so, and then moving on to the new boss monster. This card's really good. It's very easy to make, and it just ends games. And usually it just gives you that extra interruption to play against, and just allows you to just OTK. Having a card that says just slap on any triple D monster is just insane, like in my opinion. And then probably and also the one Siegfried. This does come up. I found myself actually playing this more now that I've actually gotten a lot better with the deck than beforehand. And this is really good against obviously the striker matchup. Because you find with this deck that oftentimes you have to change up the boards you make depending on what matchups you play against. So I feel like this card is really impactful in the striker matchup where other cards aren't. But this card is really good. And then moving on to the last two cards that actually I never actually played these that often, but they came up so much. And that's Zeus and Baron. Zeus, this is how I won the game against DDD. I ended up playing through his negates, and then ended up making Wave King attacks with. I had High Wave King, and I think it was Divisor as well. So I like this board, and then I just went. I didn't use my Marksman, so I went Battle Phase, swung into his Orpheros that he left in his Pendulum Zone, and then I went maybe to this a 4 material Zeus, and then I just went next turn. He went to Battle Phase, went Zeus. He went Chain Divisor, I went Chain Zeus, wiped his entire board, and then just had Swamp King in hand to kill him. So I think this card's just absolutely fantastic, this format. And yeah, it's definitely worth running. And then Baron as well. If you draw Orpheros, this card does come up, and it's just being a part of the negate, especially for a combo deck, it's just insane. But yeah, so 15 cards side deck. I don't think I'll change anything really at all. I think this deck just worked so well. Triple Gamma and one Driver. This engine's just insane for going second. So many decks are just weak to this card. Just comes up so much. 2 Drill, just a cross-out target mostly, and it's pretty good against. We have 2 hero players and 1 Mirror, and also Striker as well. It's pretty good against. So yeah, that comes up. 2 Lancia, we have again Tri-Brigade, we have a Dino player, 2 Flunder players, and yeah, so this card just wrecks those decks as well. 2 Droplet. This was a last minute addition because when we got to locals, we usually only have a small locals of 5 people max, and then we had I think it was 9 people in. So I felt like there was going to be a lot more rogue, and I felt like this card would be really good. And I never saw any of this side deck at all last week. So rip that. But yeah, I think this card just comes up in theory. It's really good against the Mirror as well. And then I was really scared of the striker matchup, so we played double Cosmic, double Twin. Again, Unchained, play this. So I wanted to have a cross-out target, and then cross-out, and then this is also really good against the Unchained matchup because you don't want to pop this stuff, so being able to banish it is pretty cool. And also this is good against striker, banishing Engage as well, or banishing whatever, multi-roll or anything. It's also really cool. And again, none of these actually ever came up. I never saw it. And then probably the worst card in the entire side deck is Pattern License. I never sided this in. I never saw it. It just is terrible. This probably will get taken out at some point. But I to be honest, you don't really need this because you go in, you kill your opponent, and it never really comes up. I don't think I've ever actually drawn. I think the guys can either agree or disagree, but I don't think I've ever actually resolved this card.
I don't recall it
at
happening.
all during testing, and it just never. Every time I put it in the main deck, it just never came up, and then I put it in the side, and I'll side it in, and just I'll never see the full card combo to be able to use this card. But yeah, no, yeah, that's it. So pretty strong deck, really. Definitely recommend picking it up if you like this style of decks. And then obviously we'll have we do have Ghost from the Past 2, which has given us the newer support, which is pretty cool. Looking forward to messing around with that at some point. I'm not sure what I would take out. I don't think I'll probably take out anything for it, really. I'll probably just, I mean, I want to keep the deck at 43, so I'll probably end up taking out like 2 hand traps or something to put in the King and Cerberus, but I think this deck is like fine without it. And yeah, so I think, but yeah, it went 3-0 to the last Sunday. I thought it was pretty cool. Had a blast, and then yeah, subscribe, like, comment. If you want me to do an updated deck profile, let us know. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, as James said, if you want an updated version, we'll be more than gladly to do it. And if you really do want to see it, subscribe and smash the like button. Thank you.